So typically, I'm not a big planner of photography shoots. I tend to check the weather and then go to an area and see what I see. For me, that's the joy of photography, being quite reactive and finding new subjects and compositions. But this morning is a little bit different because I'm actually reshooting an old photograph of mine, a favourite image of mine. I've only ever shot once, but it's from a location I've been to many times. And this time, I've planned it hoping to get the best conditions. Whether or not that's happening remains to be seen. But the point is, I've made sure that a few details or a few things have aligned, a few stars have aligned, and now I'm back, probably about 3 years later. And this is just beautiful, and this location is at its best at low tide. Now, I have shot this scene before. It was a few years ago I was here, I can't remember now. It must have been summertime, maybe spring, and I think it would have been mid to late afternoon. And now remember, it was completely flat, no colour, grey skies, and a distant subject, which is the castle of Lindisfarne, was full of scaffolding. So there's a few reasons to come back and shoot this scene. It's one of my favourite images in my portfolio, but I think it can be improved. And today, it looks like the stars have almost aligned, and we might get a big improvement on that photograph. So the way in which I've planned the shoot, basically I needed several things to align. I needed a low tide, and I needed that low tide to be at sunrise, and I wanted the sunrise to be in winter. Today actually is the first meteorological day of winter, so it's perfect. Now the reason for all of that is the location that I'm shooting, the subject, is due north. The sun rises sort of southeast, right? So effectively the sun is rising behind us, which means the sky in the direction that we're shooting is going to have that beautiful earth shadow, that dark blue band across the horizon, and then hopefully beautiful pink wispy skies above, which I'm kind of hoping is going to reflect down onto my scene. And this morning looks like we almost have those perfect conditions, but there are a few more clouds around than I had anticipated. Another great thing about coming back to this location at sunrise is that high tide washes away all of the footprints, and then as the tide drops, it leaves fresh sand. And if you can coincide that retreat of the tide with sunrise, it means no people have been here, so there's no footprints, which is great. So I'm looking at beautifully clean sand, which is, for me, it's one of my favourite things. Believe it or not, clean sand. I know, maybe it's because I live close by to a beach that forever has footprints, so this is quite nice. So it's not perfect. The problem I had last time and the problem that I'm facing today is we have these grassy sand dunes in the foreground, and I don't know, they're not too distracting if I was to include them, but I don't think they massively add to the shot, and I would much rather eliminate them altogether, which is exactly why I'm as high as I could possibly be. And I've climbed up on top of this concrete, I think it's like an old gunning lookout from World War II. This big concrete shelter, it's fantastic. And I seem to remember last time I was here a few years ago, it was a lot easier to get up. But this is just a perfect shooting platform, it's fantastic. But by being up high, I can look down on the scene and eliminate as much as possible those grassy sand dunes. So that's it. I think this is about the best that this scene's going to get. I don't think the light is going to get a great deal better. I've got the shot, and actually what I want to do is head down to the beach, take advantage of there being no footprints, and see if I can find another composition. Because this morning I only came out for this one shot, just to see if I can improve on my previous image, which is the great thing about shooting local, is you can do that. So I'll put the image up on screen. We'll head down to the beach and see if I can find a second image. So I made the short walk down to the beach here. Oh, and it's just beautiful. Fresh white sand, no footprints other than my own. And I found a shot which I'm unsure about. There's this collection, this grouping of rocks on the beach. And every time I come here, I always look at these rocks and I always think there's a shot there. But again, everything needs to be right. Mainly a low tide at sunrise, because again, you get that fresh sand, that lovely clean sand, which we have right now. In fact, I think I've been here in the past and maybe ranted a little bit about these rocks. The beach is entirely covered in footprints, so yeah, it doesn't work. But what got me excited isn't necessarily the rocks and the clean sand, which is, of course is beautiful. It's the sky behind me, which, you know, fair enough, is blown out right now, you can't see it. I'll throw some B-roll in. There's beautiful soft colours and the full moon, and it's just, the whole scene just looks wonderful. I'm not so sure about the composition because it just feels a little bit unbalanced. I think it's because we have the white band, there we go, the white band of the river kind of cutting through our comp. I don't know, I'm undecided as if to whether or not that's going to be a major distraction or not matter too much. Let me just darken you down. So, I'm not sure, but you know, it's a beautiful shot. The most difficult part of this photograph was deciding on a composition, because every step I take forward, I'm effectively ruining the previous shot because I have to put footprints in the sand. So it's like, where do I start my image? Do I include all of the rocks or just some of the rocks? Do I go close? Do I go far back? Do I go wide? Do I go slightly longer? So I ended up committing to the shot and taking a couple of steps forward into the scene. And I think the composition from this position is just about right. And I haven't put too many footprints close to the rocks. So yeah, all in all, pretty happy with that. We just need to hope, fingers crossed, and it looks fairly quiet, that nobody comes and walks right over these rocks. Oh well, that's the sand. That's the pristine sand gone. But it's all right. I don't. It's funny. I don't mind a dog running through my scene because I know my dog would do the same. But luckily, we got the shot. So yeah, no worries, and I don't have to stress about my footprints either. And the tide will come and refresh everything. So wow, beautiful morning though. Beautiful morning. Well, that dog had nothing to feel bad about. I'd already gotten the shot, and to be honest, I'm not thrilled with it. As I mentioned before, I struggled with the composition. The image has many nice elements, such as the rich texture of the rocks, the beautiful sky, and of course that sumptuous clean sand. But they don't all sit well together. For me, this would work much better at high tide, because it's the middle of the image that lets it down. The river slashes through the photo, cutting it in half, and the wet sand feels untidy. Perhaps this is another one to return to. So let me know your thoughts about this photo, and actually, I'd love to know which of these two images you prefer. As always, your feedback is welcome, so please let me know in the comments section below. Well, it's been a short one this morning. We've only been out 40 minutes since sunrise, but I think I'm going to call it. And generally I find on blue sky days like today, the sort of pre-sunrise conditions are great for shooting, but as soon as the sun comes up, you know, give it 15-20 minutes, half an hour, generally speaking, for me, that's the day gone. So yeah, pretty happy with this morning. Hope you've enjoyed this video. A nice change of scenery. Yeah, I was getting a bit, I don't know, I felt like I was living in the woods. So it's nice to get out and come somewhere wide open for a change. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please like it. If you enjoyed it, give it a like. And if you're not a subscriber, do consider subscribing for more in the field photography content. But until next time, bye for now.